This demonstration is for the black and white compositions that are incorporating a principle of design and an emotion. And this lesson is to talk about picture plane placement and perspective to create a sense of dimensionality and depth in your project. So when we look at the picture plane, typically we need a horizon, unless you are super zoomed in. So first thing I'm going to do here is create a horizon line. Okay, so this is sky. Oh, I got to make sure I'm in the view here. And this is the land, right? Okay, horizon, horizontal. Those two words are interconnected because they, horizontal lines, horizon, horizontal. Okay, so we are going to just do some really basic mountains here. We're going to kind of pretend like we're in the Sierra Nevadas here. And then we're going to put a sun and maybe some clouds. Okay, so we've created an environment here with just some really simple lines. Okay, and then this could be a road, it could be a river, but we're going to draw a pathway, okay? This could be a river, could be a path, it could be a hiking trail, could be a road, whatever you want it to be. But notice how my river/road is thinner and smaller at the back, and then it's progressively getting thicker and thicker and thicker as it, and this is a little bit off, I'm gonna fix this part, as it comes toward me, okay? So this is part of perspective and picture plane placement here. Things that are lower on the picture plane and bigger are gonna appear closer, and things that are smaller and farther away, smaller and higher on the picture plane are gonna appear farther away. So let's put a little person on here. Here's my little person, and they're walking down the road. And as they get to about here, he's really high on the picture plane, right? And then now as he's walking down the road, he's getting lower on the picture plane. He's gonna appear just a wee bit bigger. And then as he's walking down the road here, he's gonna get a little bit bigger. And then he's walking farther down the road and he's really close to us here. He is going to be his biggest self right here at the very bottom, okay? So we get this sense. So this is a totally flat piece of paper. We're creating an illusion, an optical illusion. We're tricking our brain into thinking that this guy is far away and that this guy is right up close to us, okay? So higher and smaller on the picture plane, farther away, bigger and close, farther down on the picture plane makes it appear closer. Okay, so these are just like really basic, good things to know about perspective. All right, so now we're gonna start talking about how do we create the illusion of depth. And all we have is black and white, that's it, right? So how do I make it look like things are dimensional? Let's just take something like really simple, like a cube, right? So I'm gonna just draw your basic cube here. And how do I get this to look dimensional? Well, okay, there's a couple different things I could do. If I have white as my background, I could cut out black squares that are this shape and leave the white edges. Or on the opposite of that, I could use black and I could cut out my white shapes and put them on a black background. So let's do that. So I'm going to just cut these. So cutting paper seems like limited, but it actually has a lot of different possibilities. So by placing these little pieces here, oops, I have created this illusion of dimensionality here, even though, again, this is perfectly flat piece of paper, okay? So think about using the background color so it almost looks like my square here has black lines on it. But those black lines don't actually exist. I didn't draw them in. They're just negative space in the background, okay? So when you're working, think about how can I utilize, and if you have white as your background, then it's going to be different. You'd cut out black shapes, and you could use the white background to create outlines and depth lines. So think about which background am I going to use, okay? And then utilize it. Utilize it to create lines, because you can't, there's no drawing, okay? There's no drawing in this. You cannot, I have had so many students go, oh, please, can I just use a Sharpie and draw that in? No, you cannot use a Sharpie and draw that in, okay? So if I wanted to create a smiley face, right, and I wanted these to be white, that means I would have to cut, it's not going to be easy. We're actually going to give you guys X-Acto knives so that you can do this kind of stuff, but you'd actually have to figure out how to cut negative spaces here and here.
So people who are with me in Art 1, you guys have had a lot more experience with this. They've been taught the safety protocols of X-Acto knives, but even if we're all just in team together, remember that when we did our observational drawings and then we turned them into paper-shaped cutouts, I reminded you over and over again, we cannot rely on the use of lines. We cannot rely on drawing, so how can we turn our lines into shapes?
So obviously this is way easier if you have an X-Acto knife, but you can see if you get creative with a pair of scissors. So not only do you have to come up with your idea, but you also have to do a level of planning. How am I going to use the background color in contrast with the cutout color to create the lines that I want to see in my project? So this is going to take some definite thinking and planning. Everyone is going to create a pencil sketch. We're going to create a new assignment in Google Classroom. You need to have a fully fleshed out pencil sketch of your idea before you start cutting. And then please, once you have all your cutout shapes, please let Miss Maple or myself take a look at your shapes on the page before you start gluing them down, because once they're glued down, okay? So lots of good planning for this.